Okay, so here it is. I've just received from Hong Kong my new Type 16 HD mini DV keychain camera. I ordered this on the 15th of December on eBay from one of the suppliers that's recommended on the RC Group's thread on the Type 16 camera. The company I used was Eletoponline, and it's arrived 9 days later here on Christmas Eve. So let's see what's in the packaging. We've got a USB cable, standard USB cable, a little bit of Velcro for attaching the camera to your dashboard or wherever else you want to put it, a spare battery because I ordered the camera prior to New Year's Eve. The company offered a spare battery which will be easy to replace when it does become necessary, because it just has a little tiny plug-in socket thing now. And finally, here is the camera, quite nicely packed in a little bubble bag, and an anti-electrostatic bag. So come on now, baby. So here it is, the 808 keychain Type 16 HD mini DV camera. Looks exactly the same as the standard 808 that came out a year or two back, and it looks exactly the same as the HD11. These two buttons here are dummy buttons. This is the on-off, that's the function button. Slot for the micro SD card, USB slot, a little hole to reset the camera if it should crash. You just push a pin in there and press very gently till you hear a click and it will reset. Little hole there through which an LED shows. Now this new camera's got many new LED functions which are going to be a great improvement over the Type 11. One major improvement is when the camera is recording, the LED will be flashing, so you'll know something's actually happening. With the old camera you had no idea. You pressed, there were 3 quick flashes, and you just hoped that the battery hadn't run out and that it was still recording. What else is there on here? The lens hole in the front, just here. I can see on this one it's slightly offset, which shouldn't matter too much, but if it is a major problem I shall undo the case by taking out these 2 screws and just slightly pare away the edge of the casing. But it's a shame that it is offset, it's a bit disappointing. And just there is a little hole for the microphone. Camera charges via your PC with a standard USB cable, and as I said, it takes a normal micro SD card. There's very little point in using anything bigger than about a 4 gig for the standard camera, because the battery life on the 11 was about 35 or 40 minutes, which was just about enough for a 4 gig card. Now to show you how this goes in, camera up this way, card goes in upside down. I don't know if you're getting this. We have to do this, push it till it clicks, but not too hard. Oh, I can't do it with that now. As you can see, that it's going. Click, it's in. It's actually slightly proud on this version. So that's it. Charging time should be can be as much as 2.5 hours. When it's charging, the green light will be on to show it's charging. When the green light goes off, apparently that shows fully charged. There's a PDF file you can download with the complete instruction manual, which tells you all about the LED functions, operation of the camera, and loads of other stuff. You can download that PDF from RC Group's forum, the Type 16 thread, which Tom Frank has started. Search the thread and you'll find lots of useful stuff. Anyway, I'll go and plug it in, make a bit of a test video, and let's see what happens. And by the way, look at my awful thumb. I shut it in a gate. I don't recommend that. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, first impressions are this is very similar in sharpness to the 11 camera, and an improvement is that problem they had with the camera not being able to decide whether a colour was brown or green seems to have been fixed. The lens flare problem was caused by the camera being out of position. At the end of the clip you'll see that I demonstrate how to open the case, and I moved the camera slightly, and that solved that problem. Bearing in mind this is winter sunshine, I think with a high sun and some decent light, there's probably actually produced some very good results. It was mentioned that the charging time was 2.5 hours somewhere, I think, in a manual. In fact, I found it much less than that, probably an hour. And I mentioned the manual. In fact, the seller, my eBay seller, Eletoponline, actually emailed another manual to me, but you can get it from RC groups, as you can the software which will enable you to reconfigure this. I found the low-level light performance not quite as good as my 11, but all in all a good little camera for a very low price. Okay, and I was saying that my video problem is caused by the fact that the little camera inside this is slightly offset to the hole. So what I'm going to do is take the camera case apart by taking out these two screws and then see if I can reposition it. Cut that off there, and this one. To take the card out first. There we go. Good to do this on a white tablecloth or something, because it's very easy to lose these little screws if you drop them, but if you do it on a white tablecloth, for starters they won't bounce if they fall out, and for second you can see them against the white cloth. Anyway, when you open this case, you open it from that way because there's a tiny little hinge mechanism at the front. As you can see, two little hooks there that the camera hooks into. One difference between this camera and the previous one is when the battery does need replacing, it's just a question of pulling out this little plug very carefully and plugging in a new battery. So here's the actual camera here, which, as I say, is offset. Just try pushing it a little bit sideways. In fact, it's so easy to move. All I've had to do is just slightly move it to the side, and now it's, I don't know if you can see in there, actually located bang in the middle of the orifice. Okay, I'll put the case back together and see if that will solve my refraction problem. Like I say, there's tiny little lugs there, so when you put this case back on, what you need to do is put it front end first onto the hooks. Actually, before I put it on, let me just show you what else is in here. Tiny little thing there is the microphone. Just there, okay, that's about the size of it. If you actually want to take the board out, a couple of screws there. Right, let's get this back together. Yeah, that's much better now. Right, okay. Nice and easy. Helps if you've got a kind of magnetic screwdriver for this, but here we go. Oh! Anyway, that's one. Nope. Cool, I should have had less alcohol over Christmas. Two. So that just goes to show, if you do need to replace the battery, not a difficult job in this. So, okay, and card back in. Put it in upside down, i.e. label downwards. Just a gentle push. Oh, till you hear it click in. Click in. That's it. Okay, so I don't know if you can see there, the camera is now positioned much better into the centre of the hole.